All right, going live. Just waiting for YouTube to wake up and Instagram. YouTube, now Instagram has woken up and YouTube is also awake. All right, everybody. Woo! It's been a while since I've gone live. Maybe over 2 months. But anyhow, I'm here to catch you up on everything right here and now. The biggest news I have coming in right at this point is I'm going to be attending IC3 March 15th, 2025 in Southern Connecticut State University, and I am super excited. Obviously, I am also going to be attending this with my partner in crime on Turbo Pit Fighter, Jake Jacobs. So we haven't seen each other in like 24 years in person. In the last almost 3 years, we've been meeting every Sunday making Turbo Pit Fighters. So that's going to be a grand reunion, as well as meeting everybody out there. So super excited about meeting so many people that I have gotten to know through Crom and also through Turbo Pit Fighter with Jake and doing the indie creator exchange interviews and everything. So, but for the next like 45 minutes, I'm going to give you an update on what the hell's going on my side of the camp when it comes to Crom the Barbarian and getting prepared for IC3, which is right now till March 20, the end of the day, March 24th, it's roughly 2 weeks or whatever. I'm taking pre-orders for anybody who's attending IC3. You can pre-order your comics. Make sure that I have them. You just have to use the free ship IC3 in the code on the checkout so you don't get charged for shipping. No matter where you are in the world, as long as you show up to IC3, I'm going to be bringing you comics. Please understand it costs a lot of money for an indie creator to do a show. And the biggest cost, believe it or not, is getting the printed books. I use a print on demand site called Lulu, so I have to get these comics printed like 2 weeks ahead of time. And I got to pay for the cost of each book and the shipping and everything. Right now, I'm thinking I'm only going to be bringing like 25 or 30 books. Just in the cost effectiveness. I'm also doing this pre-ordering, so you, if you're listening to this, are going to be attending, and you haven't gotten a Crom comic book from me yet. This is going to be a perfect opportunity. So I'm really looking forward to getting pre-orders to help me also gauge. I mean, if I got like 100 pre-orders, I'd have to probably end up ordering 100 more copies of Crom to make sure that I get everybody there and everything when it comes to that. So, and throughout this episode, I'm going to be, pointing everybody to cromthebarbarian.com where you're going to be able to buy all the, and I have a Kurt at cromthebarbarian.com email now. So it's pretty exciting. Uber professional of me because it's actually a Google Workspace, which I'm setting up a lot of stuff for the community, the Cromunity, if you will. But just so everybody knows, I have more than just my own Crom the Barbarian. So, of course, everybody knows I have the 2024 August release of Crom the Barbarian, 140 pages of black and white sword and sorcery goodness. 1/3 me comics, 1/3 John Guinta, Gardner Fox comics, and then the 1/3 Gardner Fox and I getting a prose story together, and then me creating some accompanying uh, um, um, illustrations. So the big thing here is I still have copies of Drawn Swords, Scoundrel's Dread. I have David Moses, Holy Mountain, Tales from the Holy Mountain. So I have literally, I think I have 3 copies left of this. So if you would like to get a copy thrown in there, make sure you grab that. And of course, the Crom brothers, Jamie and the boys, they're working on a number 2, The Brutal Blade of Crom. But I have copies, maybe 3 or 4 left of these as well. If I don't sell them, obviously I'll be bringing them with me. And I'm also doing a discount on these books when it comes to you know, pre-ordering. So free shipping, obviously, because I'm going to be delivering to IC3, and then a little bit of a price break on the books. So the just checking, making sure nobody's making comments. So super excited about that. But the bigger news, and I'll be coming back to this. The bigger news is the Crom Anthology is underway. We just got through January's soft deadline for everybody that's contributing, that has been working through 2024 on projects, either with me or on their own, or in collaboration, so on and so with others and everything. But I just want to break out that Crom Anthology is hinged on 5 other individuals that I had reached out to get a pinup and help promote the Crom collected. And these 5 individuals have been not only so inspiring, but super supportive. And I'm working with them on collaborations. So we have David Molina, Drawn Sword, Ken Landgraf, Adam Dodds, and Jason Schoonover. So these 5 individuals will be jumping over with me to the Crom Anthology. The end of February is our final deadline for getting collaboration material to me, only because then I'm going to spend the next 2 months or plus getting that stuff together. And being prepared for collecting it into the first anthology. I'm going to be referring to this a few times as we go along, but I'm going to share with you basically where we're at with the collaborations. I know there's a lot of talking, and there's some really exciting news in here as things go along. So I just really wanted to spend some time showing off, who I'm collaborating with, who's contributing to the anthology, and what it looks like, and where we're at. So David Molina, right out of the gate, we've been working on a 12-pager that we've cut into 2 pieces. So the first 6 pages, David's penciling. I'm going to be inking and then laying in text and everything. This is actually page 5 and 6. The Last Dryad, which is this story is based off of a pulp, a 1960 pulp by Joseph Kellum called The Last Druid. So we just took this very short pulp and had this real, what I call a Crom-centric feeling. And David and I just started meeting. If you're on YouTube, jump over to the playlist. We've got 9 episodes where David and I are going through hashing out this story, which is super exciting. And I am pretty speechless when it comes to being able to work with David and getting these amazing pencils. He has the first 3 pages tightly penciled, and the next 3 are in the works. So there doesn't seem to be any issue with David getting the first 6 pages together for us for me to get them inked, and then we'll get them in the book and everything. So that's super exciting. Jason Schoonover, we've been working on a story called Cromdahar. 7 pages, and it's a kind of a take on the Kandahar giant. Jason brought this up, and we kind of started playing around with the idea, thinking like, oh, what can we do? Like, kind of doing something modern meets Crom, and we started working. This is page 5 of the story, which is one of the most really compelling layouts that Jason put together, comic-wise. I'm going to be doing the inks on this. I'm really excited. I'm only actually waiting on some text which Jason said he has already completed, and then some character designs. We have a unit of military unit that interfaces with Crom, obviously in something a little aggressive like. I don't want to give too much away. It's really exciting. And so I just asked or requested that I get a little kind of a character set, just so I'm closer to what it is that Jason's looking for, and then I'm not going off the rails and reinventing something that he had there from there. So that's supposedly coming my way probably the next week and everything, which is so exciting and everything. The God Crom. This is Dexter Jones. Dexter Jones reached out to me saying he had Crom ideas, and this was one of them. Dexter is working on a separate comic book called The God Crom, and 22 pages, black and white, and we're going to help promote that comic with, I think, the first 7 pages. So that is really excited, which the 7 pages have been inked and completed. So, by January, the end of January, Dexter came in, and here we are. So exciting. The amount of creativity Dexter has in world building is really, really compelling. And challenging for me, because I feel obviously I'm responsible for my own version of Crom, and therefore I'm building my own world. So once again, just like Jason, just like David, Dexter, if you're on YouTube, go, and you're on the Crom channel, obviously jump over to our playlist. I think it's like 3 or 4 episodes where Dexter and I are going back and forth on world building and everything. So really, really excited to have him on board. So David Molina has a brother named John Molina. So John became a fan of Turbo Pit Fighter, and then Crom the Barbarian. Saw my call to collaborate, and is delivering pages as we speak. This is just page 1, Crom the Barbarian in the Serpent's Lair. Like a Maramanga style. It was just so connecting, I have to say. I said nothing to John. I just said, hey, do what you want to do, show it all. We'll get on an episode of the Crom updates, and we'll talk about it. And while this was going on, I had these wish lists. Everybody, if you haven't seen already, this is my first big wish list, which is like over 400 pages of stuff I've collected over the years that I just put together in a black and white tome. This is not for sale, but it is something I'm constantly going back and forth to. Some of these things are stories I would love to get licensed and placed in Crom anthologies in the future. Even some Japanese stuff that I'm looking to do some transcription of. So it's really exciting. Manga, obviously being as big as it is in the world, I thought, wow, it would be really neat to see Crom in a manga type style. But John really put it up one more notch, and he leaned back into the American manga. In other words, it's a 50-50 split in style. And John just really does it so well. And from learning about him on his Crom update interview, aspiring animator, somebody who really wanted to get into that field, but found it a little bit more, but still wants to tell stories, and is coming into comics. So this is the first story. There's a chance that this will be an entire standalone comic, and then we would be putting out the first 7 or maybe 9 pages, I think it was, we discussed. But we still have some inking decisions to make. I have a lot on my plate, but at the same time, this is something that's very enticing for me. So who knows? But when you watch us on the Crom updates, you get a thing. I also have gotten writers involved. So these are just individuals that are really just interested in the writing aspect. So this is just super fantastic to have involved. I'm not the strongest writer, so I don't try to pretend to be. So having somebody else that is more literal and can give that is very, very exciting. So Ron Parsons was the first writer to join join the community, and he's working with our own Drawn Sword. So Drawn Sword is doing 2 comic shorts, one of his sword and sorcery character named Karnak, and then a story, Crom the Courageous, I believe. Sorry if I didn't have the notes, but with Ron Parsons. So I have been going back and forth with Drawn Sword, as I am very anxious to be able to see something from him. The last communication from him was he really wants to get a couple pages, just really super complete from his own position, and then he's going to come in and share. So once again, make sure you're subscribed to the channel on YouTube. Also, you have the opportunity to do that as well on cromthebarbarian.com. If you two are interested in collaborating or being a part or contributing to a Crom anthology, it most definitely is not going to be Crom Anthology #1, which I'm anticipating is going to get released like in May of this year ish. A lot of things stand between me and that being completely solidified, but it is a goal in my own head. There's still going to be a Crom Anthology 2, a Crom Anthology 3, so things need to be on the works and constantly moving forward. So please visit cromthebarbarian.com, find out more about the community, contact me directly at kurt@cromthebarbarian.com. So and we'll start doing things. Just so everybody knows, collaborating doesn't always mean working with me. It can mean just others, or trying to find people paired up and getting things accomplished, like Rom and Drawn Sword. So collaboration is a thing, but you do have to appear on a Crom update interview podcast. So just be aware, it's just not a drive-by, drop the art off and go from there. So looking forward to having more and more engagements with people and building the community. Stephen Sonnefeld. Now, I have just to tease out a bit and yet to do it, but I've got 5 scripts from him. I've read the first one, completely bowled over. So scripts are in hand, and I'm looking to have a conversation with Stephen about getting those out to people through cromthebarbarian.com into the community. But Stephen's also a comic book artist, so he's working on something, and I'm super excited to see how that comes along in the final appearance of it and everything. But super excited to have Stephen involved. And then a gentleman by the name of Ollie, excuse me. And man, this is the first sample, which right now is just called Crom Sample. And our conversation on a Crom update was the suggestion of putting together about 10 short stories and then start getting them illustrated. So there's a good chance we might not have anything from Ollie in Crom Anthology 1, but we would be looking down into 2, and as well as a separate publication, which would be all 10 of these stories and illustrations, not only by me, but by other community members. So really excited about, once again, having another writer. And as I say in the interview with Ollie, is the ending to this story alone is just perfect in my world. So I to have somebody with this type of attention towards the sword and sorcery and fantasy material on. Speaking of scripts, I have 3 scripts right now that can be downloaded for free on cromthebarbarian.com. And with these 3 come basically it's instigating, number one, somebody to get off their butt and start making a comic. So this is just like a launch pad, if you will. It's nothing to create a, like, I'm a publisher and no. That's that. It's just, hey, download these, read them. If you see something in there, you want to do a page or 2, or you want whatever, but keep in contact with me. And then, go on from there. There's no rush or anything. There's also information about how the guidelines are, the compensation, you need to appear on a podcast. But I've gotten quite a few. Also, too, some people probably think to themselves like, well, wait a second, there's only 3 scripts and somebody gets that one before me and then they beat me to getting it. No, I have a vision years down the road that, like, any of these free scripts that I end up giving away, if there's like 3 or more versions of them, I would love to collect them. So it'd be like a Children of Thogyu comic that is just 3 different variant versions of that comic. Because the stories themselves, I'm not asking people to chain themselves to it. These are inspiration modules. These are things to get you sparked and going and everything. I know as a person, as a creative person, I just, when I get involved with something, I have my own take on it and I want to contribute that way. And I'm totally asking people to be involved in that way, that approach. I'm not a publisher. Publisher is so far at the end of who I am. I need people to have very, very specific appreciation for what it is I'm doing. I'm a creator looking to collaborate with other creators to get material together in an anthology to then distribute those. There's a lot to it. I'm not a caregiver in the way of you as an artist. It's get off your butt, make some stuff, engage with me as well as the community through the podcast, and let's see what happens and goes from there. So can't emphasize enough, check me out and what else is also going on the YouTube channel and cromthebarbarian.com. And if you have any questions or just want to chat, hit me at Kurt at cromthebarbarian.com. Now, this just came in the mail. I'm not showing you anything yet. This is Ken Landgraf, 4 Crom pages, drawn and inked by Ken Landgraf on a script that I wrote. So excited. We'll share later down the road. And if anybody knows Ken Landgraf's work, I get it. Literally, I'm getting it right here. I'm getting Ken Landgraf. If you're on YouTube, go to Ken Landgraf, his YouTube channel. You can watch him work on the pages. So really want to promote Ken. I love watching Ken ink. It's literally one of the top 5 things I do almost every evening, if he has a video up, obviously. Where he's inking, and I just adore the way he approaches things and stuff. So be on the lookout. So here we have, look at this. This is a really super exciting collaboration that I have been waiting for probably like a year or so, even more. The photographer and the model I have been following for years, a couple of years with Zoe, but Rick, who is the photographer, Rick Frayne, I have known since '93. So And he is also a fantastic illustrator, and photographer and framer and a gallery owner. So like where I'm at in Wilmington, Delaware, um, it's just pretty awesome. So we've been going back and forth. And of course, when I published Crom Collected, he says, "Oh, you're getting something from me." And I said, "Okay, that's fine by me," and like that. And then I said, "Well, one of the things I was thinking was it'd be really cool to get like a photo shoot in the book." Oh, and he and I were on the same page. The idea is this: we have everybody aligned. I'm actually going to get together with Rick real soon. There's a lot of props and everything, because Zoe's going to play a goddess named Ezra, and the goddess is going to be responsible for forging in a cosmic way the sword Skullbiter. So it's going to be an 8-pager photograph, and probably even some art thrown in there, like working on top of and everything. But this is going to be one of those like cool things, because there's going to be some material that I'm looking to secure, and have then in distribution to get other people to take Ezra as a goddess and put them in their own stories and da 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 da. So I'm really excited about this. This is going to be one of those things that if it all comes together, it's just going to be super exciting. So Ossuary Angel is the Instagram. Here it is, the Instagram handle for Zoe, and you've got to check that. Rick on Instagram is Rick Frayne. You can see more of his photographs and art there. So want to welcome them to the community as well. So I have been busy. I don't want anybody to think that I'm just yammering my jaws off trying to get everybody else to do my dirty work. Hold on a second. I got Dexter over on Instagram. I'm a creator. You're a creator. You like to be a creator too. That's good. Looks like you got on the ground. Great job. You picked up a 32-page Ken Landgraf. It's only 4 pages, Dexter, for Ken. And it's a serial. So every time an anthology comes, as the funds are there, I'm going to try to get there about 4 pages, 3, 5, we don't know yet. But yeah, very much looking forward to it. So I just actually yesterday finished the 9th page of a story that is one out of my, this is my Crom anthology. Where is it? It's kind of like my wish list. So I collect a lot of public domain stuff, like PDFs and comic book reader format stuff and everything like that. And then I just break them up and put a little thing here in folders and everything. And this one was a 1941 comic series that was done in Wow Comics, a Canadian comic, by a gentleman by Edmund Legault. And it's really, I love it. I see it as like outsider, it has quirkiness. Obviously, there was that, like, I'm going to make a Hal Foster, it's like, this is like a Tarzan meets Prince Valiant, which, man, that's perfect. So I basically took the first, what did I take? 8 pages, 9 pages. I think it's 8 pages, 9 pages. And just started working my own version. So this version right now, these are the 80% inks, as I always refer to. That means I have just all of the doodling and line done. Then, of course, I'm going to scan these. I'll do the white masking, then put the gray wash on, and then put all the other embellishments by value in there. I actually hand lettered straight on to the pages. So we'll see how that comes about. But super excited about this. One of the things about the character of Dart Daring, which is the original character, and I turned into Crom Daring, is there was this sort of like Jimmy Page kind of feeling. I know it's going to sound really kind of weird, but I just like the pants and the boots and everything. So the story is really around like, this is the first time Crom leaves his like protective realm, like the part of the forest that in my 4 stories he lives with his sister, in these ruins, very much like cave people, and he finds he gets a hold of a sword called Skullbiter, all kinds of things. There's Amazons that are their neighbors, giants that come through, and then a spooky death cult, that tries to, sacrifice Lala and this other gal. So I've just taken, these kinds of mechanical pieces, and put them out there and everything. So, and then when I was finishing up these last pages yesterday, I love this figure, take it and everything. I realized that this beastie ape is another character. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's not going to get thrown out to you in Anthology 1, but over time, it's going to come across that way. The other thing I want to say is that the challenge I've put on myself and why I'm keeping the anthology at heart for my work is I really want there to be a breath in finding just little elements of Crom's character and world and building them in these very small stories, and then playing those small stories off of each other. And those small stories having then the collective as they move along. I think one of the biggest things that probably people have with me right now is the frustration of whose world, Crom-wise, are we dealing with? And I have really the most simplest way of saying it. It's your world. It's your Crom. Crom is a public domain character that I claim no ownership of. My own work, I obviously own, but even there, I really want to get people to be involved. What's going on with these guys over at the Brutal Blade of Crom? Jamie Barrows is heading it up. You've got Alex Turbin involved. That's Jamie's work. I try not to tease this out too much because I really want people to support this. And no threat. I am not threatened by this at all. As a matter of fact, I am so much inspired. I just can't. They have an issue 2 they're working on right now, which is just, I'm going bonkers over it and being able to have to wait any much longer. So it's a sandbox is the best way. Now, if you were to get a copy of my Crom collective, the one I put out together, this is just a great handbook. There's things that you can take from this and expand upon, make your own version of it, make it, spin it. I believe that's really at the heart of what keeps comics successful, is getting people jazzed up about characters and worlds and then wanting to be a part of them, whether it's just sitting back and being like, oh man, it'd be great to live in, Conan's world. That's what it's always been like for me. But to be able to contribute to that world, I think is also just such an amazing thing to have. So with that being said, I'm heading towards 2 more stories to give the 13 by 19 treatment. Now these are fun. This is a little thing I'm starting for the first time. And it's basically this. This is I'm trying to remember how big this is. 4x6? No, not a 4x6. What is this? 5x7 cards. So this is like a really good card stock. I'm just scribbling out and laying out a comic. Okay. So this is Lala. This is like one of Lala's stories. And it's kind of, it's obviously kind of cool. And it has something to do with a time machine. I think it's going to be Lala and the Master of Time or something at a point. So it's kind of, once again, it's an element to be able to utilize later down the line. Now I'm going to blow these pages up. I'll scan them and blow them up, and they will be 13 by 19. And I will then give them the 80% ink treatment, and then the gray value and treatment from there. So I'm really excited about this. I have a tendency, and I think others fall into it as well, where you can get into this penciling and layout thing and just really overwork it for yourself, but then on top of it, undermine yourself. And so these were pages each of these pages was taking me about 45 minutes to do. And I feel really good about then expanding off of them. So this is Lala. Tentative subtitle is The Masters of Time. So I have that. And then I got a little guy called Crom Jr. And the reason I wanted to look into this is comics straddle so many kind of art forms, if you will. Cartooning is one of them. And I don't spend enough time personally working in that headspace. Cartoons being very quickly rendered or stylistically animated. So I found an old 40s kids comic called Basil the Bold, and use that as a jumping off point to then create basically a baby Crom, and then the world, thereabouts and everything. So really excited about this. I think there's like 5 or 6 installments of Crom Jr. or the Basil the Bold. So it goes down there. I've even thought about just sort of generating some scripts, so some free scripts to kind of bring in, and I probably wouldn't put them out until I have a better clarity on what's going on with these and everything. So that's something to be looking forward to. As a matter of fact, this Friday I will be, I can't remember, I don't know which one I'm going to start doing first. Probably flip a coin. Maybe Lala, I don't know. It's like Lala working with the sexy gals, or Crom Jr. working with the cartoon characters and stuff. We'll see what my mood is when I get up on Friday morning to start working on that stuff. And then finally, I have some stuff in the book, which is like ephemera. It's just kind of like built-in padding in the story. This is one of 9 pages I bought from Japan. I'm only showing this off. I am going to scan these in high res. I'm going to print them out 13 by 19, and I'm going to play around with them. Maybe like do some fine lining and, comic booking them, playing around with the Japanese script and everything. I'll probably even create like a page where I'll have all of these translated. But if you know Crom the Barbarian as a movie, I don't know what they're telling you anything new from Japan. I'm sure it's like press release that's then converted into Japanese. But these 9 pages I had to have just because the stills themselves are just freaking amazing. So looking forward to having that involved in there. Oh, what was that? That was... oh God, I remember this one. It was like an 80s. And these really cool like motorcycles. Anyhow, I don't want to. So, with that being said, if you have listened all the way through on this, I thank you so very much. If you have questions, make them in the comments, whether you're on Instagram or YouTube, that's fine. I will definitely see them. I will put them, uh, um, I will respond to them. So, for that, just want to go back and finish off and say, if you have anything in the way of contributing to Crom the Barbarian, reach out through cromthebarbarian.com. Contact me, Kurt, at cromthebarbarian.com. The thing that I'm really pushing today, and I just got to locate everything, is this is the first day where I'm starting the pre-orders for pickup for those attending IC3. Use the shipping code, this checkout code, which is free ship IC3, so you don't get charged for shipping. Obviously, I will bring those comics. You'll be able to see me at my table and get them without having to worry about whether I have them or not. If you don't know what I'm talking about, March 15th, 2025, 10 to 6, one day only, a Saturday in Southern Connecticut State University. Second year running. Can't state how excited I am. But indiecomicscreator.com, Comic Con is there. Only indie creators. There's no fobby, whatever. There's no vendors selling toys, and there's no cosplayers in the sense. It's just, it's just the creators. And this is, I think, so overdue. Because we've been shadowed, in my opinion, when it comes to Comic Cons. We're just put on these tables called Artist Alley way off to the side, and by the time people get to you, they're exhausted and penniless. Here, people are coming straight in. They have their cash in hand. They know what they like, and then they get to go through and not only find the things that they like sword and sorcery or post-apocalyptic, because Jake will be with me at my table for Turbo Pit Fighter. So we're really looking forward to being able to meet, like I said, a lot of people out there. But I can't express enough. I need you to pre-order. This is going to help me get my right amount of books together so I can meet everything. I can't bring hundreds of books and all that kind of thing. There's the traveling and all that. It's not a complaint. It's just stuff like there. So it's the books that I have in my shop right now, obviously, this is my Crom collected handbook, 140 pages, sword and sorcery goodness, black and white, magazine size. I have 4 copies. Jamie's going to be there, so he's going to have copies too. So don't know how much he's going to be selling his for, but if you have to, you can pick up a copy ahead of time. Jamie, can't wait to meet you. We also have, maybe less than a dozen from the first batch that we secured from New Zealand of the Scoundrel's Dread. That's right. Dark concept art book. These are all bounty hunters. This is printed in Australia. Only 100 copies. Each are numbered and signed by Drawn Sword. This was a fantastic thing to get a hold of and be the American distributor of. So really excited. David Moses. I have to say, when it comes to David's work, as a matter of fact, the Crom, the Crom Daring pages I just showed, I was flipping through this book often. Love David's handling of ink, especially the thick and thin, like these big bold brush marks, and then these thinner line stuff. Just an absolute magic. Secured copies, a couple copies from him, have them in the shop. And I believe all of these are $1 off. So also giving a little love there. When it comes down to it. But I'm not going to yammer too much more about this. Be on the lookout. Crom Anthology #1 is heading our way. Please take the time. Pre-order. Let me bring them to the show for you. And then Hey, John, how's it going? Thank you, John. John Molina just jumped into the comments here on YouTube. And if you're in the area, or you can get yourself out there, or you love indie comics, this is a Cosmic Lion's going to be there. I cannot wait to meet this guy, Adam Lemna, who Adam and I working on a little side project. So we're actually going to have to cut some time out and talk about that, him and I. So very exciting. Chris Anderson. I know Matt King is going to be there. It's just, there's just, the excitement, it's just too much, I think. And once again, cromthebarbarian.com. You'll be able to find out more about all of this yammering I've been doing. Kurt at cromthebarbarian.com is where you can go to be able to find out more about me. But I just want to thank you for taking your time. Perfect, too. 45 minutes. That's what I was shooting for. Coming in and watching live. But now that it's over, you're going to be on the replay. If you made it this far, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And look forward to doing this again. Probably even doing a little bit more drawing and inking. Just wanted to give everybody an update. It also helps me put some clarity to it. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to jump out. I got some other things I got to do. And I know you do as well. So take care of yourselves, and we'll look forward to IC3 and some pre-orders.